not being a football player, my experience with football is mostly intrams, the
Uh,
games we play during recess and lunch.
yeah,
And if you notice, parang everyone wants to be a field player.
yeah,
At the end, you get parang you get stuck with being the goalkeeper, or like everyone has to change every time someone gets a goal.
yeah,
Um, but at the same time, the goalkeepers are always the ones blamed when there's a goal that
uh,
gets passed. So I don't know if it's different for you, being varsity or being in the ASCALs. Is it less likely for someone to want to be a goalkeeper in football?
yes. I think yeah, yeah, it is. Um, the way I see it, we all experience at one point being a goalkeeper, and there are just people who actually enjoy it or who love
Yeah.
the position. So um, if it is like, for example, if you're a player who starts as a goalkeeper, if you're assigned to be a goalkeeper, and then you know that you're not gonna always be a goalkeeper. Like there's gonna be times, especially like for example training or in um like open plays, like just during like casual football, that you'll always like try to play other positions. So when you're a football player, when you're into football, you'll always like experience at one point of your football life, you're going to experience playing each position. And I think it's just those, especially if they start early, or if they find it in themselves that to enjoy being a keeper early, that they'll eventually just focus on it when they start playing seriously. Because like what you said nga, na when we play, it's always a palit keeper, right? Like whoever
Yeah.
scores, like for example, if you're the one who scores, you become the keeper. So inevitably there'll always be like one situation, one scenario, or one experience of you playing as a keeper when you play football. So it's just really up to those who enjoy playing as a keeper eventually turn into goalkeepers.
Okay. With that, I guess it's not really the most, not the most popular position. I guess that's why I deem it as like the sleeper part of football.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, I'm sure you would agree that it's still a very, very important position. So,
Super
I guess
important.
how important for you is the position? Maybe I guess share with the listeners, why you think it should get just as much fanfare, or it should be just maybe not just as sought after, but like it should definitely be considered by a lot of incoming young football players.
Okay, so uh, in this country, um, the fame goes to whoever scores,
Yeah,
because we
agree.
lack the education to teach people about football. So whoever scores becomes the famous one. And there are three important roles that I believe deserve just as much fame as the one who scores: the one who passes the ball to the one who scores, the one who creates the opportunity, that this basically the one who gets the assist. The guy who
Yeah,
makes the assist deserves just as much credit as the guy who scores. Definitely the guy who scores, because scoring is not a joke either. And the guy who makes sure that nobody scores against the team. Because what's a goal if you're down by 3, right? So those are
true.
the three positions that I believe, or those are three situations, or the three people that I believe deserve just as much fame as the person who scores. I'm not I'm not saying the defenders or the midfielders who are not part of the team, who aren't part of the play, don't deserve as much. The entire team gets the win, the entire team gets the goal, the entire team deserves the fame. What I'm just saying is what fans should always look at, especially when a goal is scored, is that the guy who made the assist deserves just as much credit as the guy who scores, and the guy who keeps the ball out of the goal deserves just as much credit as the guy who scores it. Um, this is why I have such a um, I have such a beautiful relationship with my keeper, AJ, when I was in college, because it would always be him and I talking in the field, especially when someone scores against us, or when we score a goal. For example, if someone scores against us, um, I'd always look to him and I'll just be like, "We will get this one. I got your back. You got mine." Or when I score a goal, it's the same thing. It's always just like, um, I'm gonna try to keep scoring more goals. Don't let anything in. And then when someone actually scores, it's always just like, babawi tayo, kaya natin to. So um, there was a post AJ had also, or I think there's an interview that he had, and he also expressed how different our relationship is. When LaSalle scored against us in the
Yeah.
finals, AJ and I were looking at each other. We were the only ones looking at each other. When we won in FU and AJ kept a clean sheet, we were the ones who celebrated together. He was the one who went up. He was the one who went up to me, and I was the one who went straight to him also. And we were just celebrating because we did our jobs very well. He did his job keeping the goal out, and I did my job very well. And there are times also wherein I fuck up with my job of scoring, where I don't get to score the game, but we still end up winning because other players of the team step up and score the goal. At the same time, AJ keeps the goal keeps the opponent goalless. So it's a very big dynamic to have when your goalkeeper is just as confident in himself just as confident in himself as the striker, and a clean sheet deserves so much more credit than a win with a goal, because it's harder to keep balls out than to score. Honestly, I can say that it's harder to be a goalkeeper than to be a striker.